These next two books I didn't put on my Goodreads because I didn't get through most of them. I had no idea what was happening in Archibald. Um, it's by Miguel de Fuego, and it came out in 2019. It, the longer a book is, the harder it is for me to be propelled forward. I get that it is not easy to write like a 400, not even 400 pages, like a 300-page book. It's difficult for some people. I got that. At the same time, it it's like a TV show. If you if you don't have like a good cliffhanger from part 1, why do I care? Um I think it said that it was children's fantasy and it was sci-fi. I didn't get either of those. In my opinion, if you write a 100-page book by page 25, I should already know what the fuck is going on. If you write a 700-page book by page 175, I should know what is happening. Like, but I didn't. Like, Archibald is cool, I suppose. I think he's an orphan and he falls into a hole into like a new world. And well, I also am of the opinion that if you're going to have it where like your main character is going from specifically from the normal world into a fantasy world, while the plot needs to get started at page 175, they need to be in the fantasy world by at least page 50. Because what? Um, Bronze Magic was boring. I seem to enjoy high fantasy, but character lists in books worry me. This is not a play. What is happening? Um, yeah. Basically, the main character, his brothers think he wants to be king because he's like a great sorcerer, even though he doesn't. So his brothers plot to have him killed, and he has to run away. And I don't care. Yeah, there's too much talking and not enough moving. The antagonist has a shallow motivation at best. Like, if your characters, yeah, because I'm pretty sure this next book is also the second to last book. But if your antagonist motivation for wanting to kill a character they think wants the throne is based solely on that character's popularity, your antagonist has a shallow motivation. Let's talk about a good book. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee came out in 2017. I discovered it because I wanted to read something gay. Cool. It got an award for young adult fiction, and it's historical and adventure fiction. And um, I would also put comedy on this because this book is fucking wild. Okay. Henry Montague, from here on out called Monty, is looking forward to traveling because no father, he gets to gamble, he gets to have parties, and a year with Percy, who he wants to be his gay boyfriend. Um, yeah, so Henry's dad is the one sending them on the trip. He thinks that if he sends Monty and Percy on this trip, then Monty will come back and like buckle down and work at the bank with his dad. That's not what happens. But his dad sends like a keeper with them. His name is Mr. Lockwood, and also Monty's sister, who they're supposed to drop off at a women's school. Monty keeps thinking that his sister is reading like smutty books because that's what the cover is. She's not. She's actually reading medical books, but this book takes place in the 1800s, so women couldn't read books like that. They also have a baby brother who is like a really, really young baby brother. Like Monty and Felicity are, I want to say that they're at least 16, but yeah. I don't know what British boys did in the 1800s if they weren't in school, but they were high class. So yeah. Um, Monty is the eldest, so he's going to run the estate, and this is also his last chance to be able to run the estate before he's going to get disowned. And if he's mucking about with boys, double bad. Um, so we go through how Monty realized that he was in love with Percy, and Percy does he's kind of like, the only comparison I can think to make is Remus and Sirius from Harry Potter. If you should so happen to ship them, Monty is Sirius and Remus is Percy. He's the level-headed one and like, hey, maybe you shouldn't gamble so much. Hey, maybe you should listen to your dad and take over the estate or else you're going to end up poor because realistically you don't have any other skills. maybe you should actually do something with your life. Percy is going to go to Germany because he says that his aunt and uncle are sending him there. He is also half Argentinian, I want to say, so he has darker skin than like everybody else. So that's a thing. Um, they do kiss very early in the book, but it goes wrong, and uh, uh, also this book takes place before the end of the Atlantic slave trade, so um, Monty has a hard time like in high society because people have heard about his shenanigans, so they judge him constantly, and he's not a fan of it. He goes to the Palace of Versailles, and like there's a party going on. He gets angry that someone's mocking him, so he like leaves. This French bitch finds him and is like, "Hey, we should play a game." And they play a game of strip poker. The apartment in Versailles that they are in, that's what they call it, not what I'm calling it. The apartment that they're in Versailles is like belongs to one of the dudes who was making fun of Monty, and Monty finds something like silvery in there. At least I assume it's supposed to be silvery, and he steals it. He thought it was harmless. In the next chapter, highwaymen come after them. It's not harmless. So, the highwaymen. Man, I don't know what happened to Mr. Lockwood, but Monty, Percy, and Felicity are able to stay together, and they get to the next town, and they find, I think they're supposed to be Romanes, or they're just some weird traveling carnies. But I'm pretty sure the book said that they were Romanes. And they like take them in and hide them. It is also at this point that we find out that Percy has epilepsy. He is not being sent to school in Germany. He is being sent to an institution because that's what you did with people who had epilepsy back then. Because we at that point we knew it wasn't possession, but we didn't know how to fix it. So yeah. So the box that Monty stole is some like because they figure out that that's why the highwaymen were after them. It's got something to do with like I think alchemy and bringing someone back to life. That whole part of it I didn't really get. But anyway, yeah, so they figure out that it belongs to a person named Mateau Robles and they have to get to Spain. So Monty wants to return it to the person who it actually belongs to because the guy Monty stole it from that dude. Percy agrees. Felicity's reluctant, but you know what? Fuck it. So they go. Yeah, so they get to Barcelona, and Mateau is said to be dead, but they find their two kids. And it's like, okay, we can take the box and it'll be fine. Hit him with the bamboozle switcheroony. The guy who stole the box didn't actually steal the box. He had the kid's dad imprisoned, and he needs the box so that he can give it to the French king so the French king can live forever and take over England again. What? So this is after one of the many defeats of France by England. So, yeah, that's happening. Yes, hang on. I have to, because I remember events as they happen. The box is called a Lazarus key, and it can cure anything, and it will keep people alive. So, yeah. Yeah, so Mateo is in jail, so Monty gets arrested, and Mateo tells him how to open the box. Something to do with Mateo's wife. Monty gets stabbed at this point, which was odd. And they get to a ship so that they can go to Greece, because for some reason they need to go to Greece. I don't remember why. I lost it, really, at that point. So they get stopped by some pirates, and the pirates kidnap them, and then a French ship stops them. But like they're fine. Yeah. So they get to Venice, and Percy suggests like just running off at this point, and like who gives a shit? Throw the box into the ocean and let's just leave. No, because now Percy has like a sense of responsibility. So, Monty's also the guy who Monty stole the thing from. I don't know what that dude's name is. He reveals to Monty that Monty's dad was just as bad as Monty was back in the day. Apparently, he used to fraternize with French noblemen's wives and got into trouble several times, which is why he probably doesn't appreciate the way Monty acts. But Monty also gets shot, and they're able to destroy the Lazarus box, and Monty decides that he and Percy are going to stay together. He's going to get sober, stop womanizing and being community penis, and they're going to just live together, and it's going to be great. And Felicity can do whatever it is that she wants to do in the 1800s. It's not easy for women out here in these streets. So, like, I'm not sure what any of this book has to do with virtue. I got the vice part. The virtuous part? No clue. If you buy a certain version of the book, the actual guide that Monty writes is in the back of the book, because it's a guide to vice and virtue in London. And also a letter that he wrote to his dad where he was like, you know what? I know that you want to disown me, and you know what? Now you have my replacement in the form of my little brother. So there you go. But at least I didn't sleep with married women. And yeah. Monty has solid development from bullheaded child to bullheaded adult, but like he's got a mature side to the bullheadedness as an adult. And yeah, I like Percy and Felicity. I like that his dad is an ass to him because he also used to be a fraternizing asshole. Um, Also, I was wrong. It is not 18 something. I just know that it's 17 something. But like I don't know if it's 1717, and I figure that 1817 is too soon because like the Atlantic slave trade is still happening, and I figure that 1717 is too early because I don't know what French-British conflict would prompt someone to be like, hey, French king, you can live forever, and then we can get Britain back maybe. I don't know what conflict would have prompted that, because the thing that I think of is the 7 Years' War, but that happened right before the American Revolution, because that's why Britain was taxing America so much. So I don't know what is happening, but it can't be post-American Revolution. But yeah, it was a good book. Like it was, I don't know what I wanted this book to be. I think I thought for some reason that it was going to be erotica. I don't think I read the description before I bought this book. And I think I thought it was just going to be Monty and his wannabe boyfriend sleeping around with each other in different countries, doing shenanigans. But I was wrong, and I was pleasantly surprised. So at least there's that. Yeah, this book is actually right above House Moving Castle. So yeah, cool.